It's really hard to say it out loud. So, yeah, next summer I am going to take off on my bike and cycle the fastest route around the world, self-supported. I want to break the world record. There, I said it! It's out! I was filled with curiosity about what I might be capable of. The biggest doubt, I was just like a lassie from the Highlands. How was I ever going to pull that off? Am I that type of person? Because anybody that I'd gone to see speak or read about, it was like, oh God, we've had such different backgrounds. I didn't have anyone in my world, I suppose, that was like that I could think, oh, well, if they can do it, I could do it.
We lived in a kind of housing estate and loads of kids her age, so she was always mucking about with them. And we always had the old bikes, you know, so we'd go up the canal, up Craigdenane Hill, all that sort of thing. You know, I don't think that's what made her like bikes. She probably disliked them very much at the time.
When my son was little, there wasn't much time for my own outdoor adventures. But when he went to school, I started mountain biking, and as he grew older and became more independent, I could go out for longer and longer rides. I sort of evolved as an adult and a mum at the same time. I think when people have kids when they're older, then they know who they are as an adult. Although I wasn't a sporty child, you know, I laugh about having written my own notes to get out of PE and just always been on the Skive and never been in a sports club. But I loved adventure. I was always having adventures. Oh, that might have been a mistake, the couscous, you know. Couscous and tortellini. It was the adventure side of it that made it attractive to me. It was never about the actual pedal strokes until much later. When I first stumbled across this record, my initial thought was, wow, I wonder if I'd be able to take this on. To make it a Guinness World Record attempt, I need to follow some fairly specific rules. I have to pedal for at least 18,000 miles, with a total trip distance that will exceed the length of the equator. I'll be riding in a continuous direction, so I'm heading eastbound, and I need to pass through two opposite points on the planet. The clock is never going to stop, so all my flight time and faff time will be included.
The current record is 144 days. I want to say 120, but I don't know, I just made that up. I don't know. The minute I got on it, honestly, I've never felt like this about a bike before. It was just like, wow, everything fits, everything works, and it's just, yeah, it feels like part of me. I worked with Stephen and Russell from Shand to get that spec, so it's an absolute beauty. Oh, you've got the comfort of a steel frame, but you've got the luxury of carbon-like components on it to keep it light and keep it fast. And then I've got a sun hub, so this is going to power my batteries and my lights as I go. If I ride for 10 hours a day, it'll charge 5,300 battery pack. The key is not having to stop places because of for charging things, because then that will have an impact on how many hours I can put in the saddle each day. Not got it working yet though, every trip I've gone away on is broken. Ah! last 6 months, everything's really ramped up. So I'm not only training loads of hours and working a full-time job, but I'm also project managing how it's all going to work and the logistics. So all my time and brain space is taken up with that. A trip like this will cost around £15,000. That'll cover flights, getting the food for the whole trip along the way, and I'm planning to stay in accommodation to recharge myself and like my electricals every third night. In 2.5 weeks' time, I finish work for 6 months. Like, I'm like renting my flat out, and so I've got no home and I've got no income for 6 months, and I've just got this gorgeous bike to go and ride. God, well, if we all miss our planes, I'm taking full responsibility for it. I'm going to join Mark Bowman's route, he just did the fastest supported run around the world.
Okay.
And so his route is like really fast.
Okay.
They spent ages looking into like winds and road types and stuff like that to make it the fastest possible.
Yeah.
So as much as I can, I'm going to follow that route. But the first 80k is my own route out of Berlin. And then I joined into his.
Because what you see is the problem is there's very little other direct routes. Everything else is like you have to find your way through, and there's quite a bit of cobblestone.
Ah, right, okay.
Hi, Mrs. Hi. Oh, I can't believe it's actually here now. And it hasn't hit me just yet, like the enormity of it. Well, it has hit me, but I mean, it's just through waves of it, and I'm feeling quite calm about it just now. So I'm like, oh no, when is this going to hit you? When is this going to be like, oh, that's why everyone was like, you're going to do what? I can't see it sometimes beforehand. There's lots and lots of unknowns that I'm thinking about quite a lot, like going through Russia and Asia. And then when I let myself worry, I worry about Australia and New Zealand and, worry about crossing the top of Canada or the bottom of Canada. But then I'm like, that is irrelevant. Like, I need to leave tomorrow. The run up to Berlin, I look back on it now and I'm like, how did you manage to get to the start line without having a major meltdown? I do not know. I was just going to bed at about midnight, so I'd have, or maybe 11 o'clock, so I was going to have 6 hours sleep the night before. And I lay in my bed and I looked up at my bike and saw my GPS on the bike and thought, oh no, I haven't got any routes on that. I don't even know my way out of Berlin tomorrow morning. I'm leaving at 6 o'clock. So I was like, oh, it's easy to fix. I practiced it at home, like I know how to do it. So I started trying to get the routes to download and nothing would download onto it. 2 hours later, so it's now 1 a.m, I got half the world onto the Garmin. I cannot believe you didn't do that. How on earth are you going to get around the world?
She's not really an organised person, I can tell you. No, she never really has been organised. But she just seems to get out there and be able to get it all together. She was a fixer always, rather than being organised.
Leaving the house is the hardest bit of any journey. Believe about last night, I'm gonna have to totally let it go, but I'm finding it really hard to. There's something deep inside me that questions like, are you honestly good enough to do that? Are you honestly brave enough to do that? There's no getting away from it. It's me testing myself on how far I can push myself. Oh my God! I can't even, honestly, the feeling, like the contrast in feelings between 5 to 6 and 6 o'clock is incredible. I wasn't expecting it. It might have been Melanie's coffee and cake, so. On the way over here, I was just like, oh my goodness, there's so many things I'd still wanted to do, and I was questioning everything, every choice I'd made, and now I'm like, just going, doesn't matter, it's just riding bikes. So yeah, it feels good. Four hours done, 100k in. Wow, I can totally feel my legs and my bum. First McDonald's of the trip. Dirty, so dirty. Okay. 20k to Poland. 180 miles in the bag. A good day. So that's 200 miles done, 17,800 to go. Oh, I feel rough. Oh, I just woke up with this massive lump. My head is huge. I think it's a mosquito bite. Oh, so itchy. It's going to be really annoying. I've got everything you can think of in my bag apart from antihistamines. I can't believe that. I've got about an hour to go to the next garage, next to town. I'll go and find some there. Oh. I mean, to be fair, I was getting funny looks anyway. Nearly in Latvia. Looking forward to it. Oh, not all roads are made equal. Look at this. This has been this dirt track for about 6 kilometres or something now. And I just looked at the map and I think there's another 2 to go. The traffic in Russia was really scary. I was gripped. I mean, when I was on that road, I was gripped. I was riding for my life. Just had, like, such a horrible time on the road there. I got such a fright. Just keep getting run off it by big trucks. The other night at 2 in the morning I was going and it was like mental busy. So I haven't quite found the the quiet times and the crazy times for being on the road. It just all feels a bit crazy. And like, it's fine. Like, it's not so much the riding along beside fast traffic. Like, that's, you know, I've done lots of that. It's not really enjoyable, but it's fine. Like, it's not what's getting to me. It's just when the hard shoulder goes, and then you've got nowhere else to ride but on the road. And there, I mean, it's just not built for bikes. Like, there's massive lorries. Like, there's no room for them for you to be there. They just beep the horn and you have to bail off the road. So you're just like constantly just like jumping into verges and shit. It's just like so stressful. I feel really silly for even being here. Like, there shouldn't be bikes on this road.
If it's falling to pieces, what will your cry for help be? And she just said immediately, I'll call Mum. And I thought, yeah, I can see that's the thing to do, because Mum will be the person who says, Jen, nothing matters, just come home.
Actually, what hit me was the self-supported aspect. How alone I was on this trip. Nobody else could make that decision for me. I could share information with people back home, but actually, you know, I'm the one out here. It would have such a negative impact on everyone back home, and no positive impact on me. It was so stressful. I was stopping every hour and a half. I'd have to pull into a garage. And the detours were like, well, it might just sort of be just as bad, or the roads might not be so good, and actually there's not a detour for another 150 miles anyway. So I thought, right, I'm going to ride through the night. But then deal with the decision that I made. I just sat with it for days, that I'd just ridden all through the night. That is not what you do to survive a 4-month trip. That's just going to knock you back. But yeah, that's what I decided to do, just to get me out of that situation safely. Ultimately, making that decision has made me stronger for the rest of the trip. It made me trust myself.
When I wake in the morning, I just look to see where she is. I certainly don't want Jenny worried about me. She's got enough on her mind. But she will be.
You think as the sun came up, you'd be like, yay! But actually, you're like, oh God, the sun's come up and I've still not gone to my bed yet. But honestly, like, this place, this is a classic bikepacking bedtime territory. I got myself a pipe. Once you're in it, like, you know, we've got my sleeping bag and I've got like my bike in it with me, and there's my wee roll mat that might be a little bit burst, but it's lovely, it's sound. What a weirdo, eh? Keep forgetting like that I'm in Russia and just start speaking English to people and being like, oh shit, yeah, saws. Hi. Some of the hard bits weren't the obvious things, like riding all day. Finding accommodation when it was 2 a.m. and you can't speak the language, and you knew that when you went up to that reception you had to wake somebody up because they'd be sleeping at the desk, and
you would have to jump into this game of charades to play, that you played with them to try and get them to understand what you needed, always took like quite a lot out of you. And then once you got the room, then you would have to try and talk them into letting your bike into the room as well, because it's not only your most valuable asset out there, but it's got everything you need for that night's sleep in it. So if you forgot anything and they made you leave it in a shed, 5 minutes away, then that's quite a lot of toing and froing from your precious 5 hours sleep that you've got. Crossing Asia was all my big border crossings that I needed visas for, that I had time limits to get in and time limits to get out, and there was a lot of uncertainty about how I was even going to cross those borders. So getting up to those borders, understandably I was feeling a bit anxious that I'd mess something up with the visa, and then I would need to pay somebody for me to jump in their car and take my bike and get over the border. And sometimes I'd be spending like 5 or 6 hours with this random family that, we didn't speak each other's language, and we would just smile at each other a lot and have juice or sweeties or whatever. I had to let go of the time when I was crossing those borders. It's just so many hills. I love it. Desperate times, desperate measures, sardine oil for the chain. I mean, it's a bit smelly, but I think it's going to be good. And then I get to have lunch after it. 2 in 1. It's a bit damp.
A lovely family said, please, come and stay with our family tonight. You'll have a bed. And instead she cycled into a storm in the darkness to cycle overnight and ended up just sort of sleeping in a drain, which seems to be really typical for her. But to her, that saves a couple of hours chat in the evening and a couple of hours chat in the daytime. And she loves to chat, don't get me wrong, she's a big time chatter, but that's preparation time and it's cycling time, so it's too important to lose.
Road I've been on, road I'm going on. This is us just crossing between Mongolia and China. It's a space of no man's land that you're not allowed to cycle over. So these lovely people have given me a lift. Bikes up there. Like, I'm a little bit worried about it. And they're total helping me. You should see my back pockets. They're full. They're absolutely full of water. A picture? Made it to the Great Wall of China! I think I was 36 days. I've been up for hours. Look at the neck of me. I'd come off the back of Asia, which blew my mind. The culture being incredible, the sights, the sunsets, all of it. And then I flew to Australia and it was winter. It was dark at like 5 o'clock at night and it was raining. I could speak the language, which was great for going and ordering some nice food, but the magic wasn't there of the culture because we knew it all. This was very familiar. And the rain and the winter just is like, oh, this isn't as much fun anymore.
you to other people, I mean, you were just another cyclist crossing the Nullarbor. Oh my God, it's freezing in here. So windy and wet. Oh. I feel like a bit of a loser getting hotels all the time. Like, it's not all the time, but it's way more than I planned. It's just so cold and wet. Oh, her toes. Oh, look at that. Ugh. Oh my God, they smell disgusting. Stopped really early last night and like slept in this bath shower. I was like, right, I better get out of here before it gets light, you know, like a big bus shelter like this, there'll be loads of people here. It's 8 in the morning and I'm still sitting in my flipping bivvy bag. Like, come on, Jen. It's just like, what are you doing? You know, do that when you're having a coffee, not when you're like sitting in a bus stop. Anyway, I can't be too hard on myself. I have to be kind to myself today. When I'm feeling like this, it's so easy to be like, oh, you're a loser, oh, you're not even doing this properly. Like, but actually, this is the time that I need to be really nice to myself, like when I'm feeling like this.
Not bad, how are you?
I'm good, yeah, I'm really good.
You look rough.
Nice to see ya. Eh?
Saying you're looking rough.
I feel a little bit rough. Do you know what I'm most looking forward to, apart from seeing you guys, obviously?
What?
Getting a new pair of jammies and just like lying about in them for the whole weekend.
I think that resilience that you need when you're out doing a big trip like that, I had it in bucket loads from being a mum. You know, you're constantly dealing with the unknown and making decisions on the spot. Big decisions on a small amount of sleep.
Well, it's good to see ya. There's a free breakfast downstairs and it's going to finish in about 20 minutes.
Oh, you
so-
better go get down that.
Love you.
Love you too, bye.
Oh wow. Feels really nice. Glad I'm here. Really glad. I won't be saying that when the killer kangaroos come out. I was scared more wildlife than I expected to be out there, to be honest with you. And like my first encounters with kangaroos really threw me. They come out just when it's getting dusk, so now they're silhouettes, they're not like real animals. It's like a dinosaur, do you know, it's the only way I can describe it, with this like massive big tail and like a huge, like towering over you, little hands, and feet are like massive feet, bouncing along beside you. Like, oh no, I couldn't cope with them. Oh my goodness, so I've thought about being here quite a lot and like getting to this point, and then I've been like, oh, that feels so far away, like getting to that 90 mile straight, and now I'm actually here. Oh, quite nice out here. Today's the first day I totally get Australia. Saw my first nice kangaroo as well, like not a scary Jurassic Park kangaroo. Just saw it down there, just like hopping about, quite cute. I think I was a bit hard on them. Toilet baby. Just got the rain on for the last like 12 hours.
And then just I found this toilet block that's not actually too many. I'll show you around so I don't get too hot. So I'm not too scuzzy. And I'll just squeeze down there with my bike.
1 hour to fix one puncture. That is ridiculous, isn't it? Oh, I'm raging, like. It's just getting the tyre seated again, like on these rims. It's impossible. It's not even seated properly, but honestly, I've had it, like, I don't even care. Oh. Did you hear that? Just seated itself. Oh well. It's not as bad now. But an hour, like that's any T-stop for that gone. Oh, I'm so behind. Just booked a flight to Brisbane yesterday for a week's time, and like last night it was 50k short. Tonight is dark. I've not even done 100 miles yet. I'm like behind. Get up, pack up, on bike, pedal, find coffee, find toilet, wash, fill up with food, fill up with water, toilet, back on bike, pedal, 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 find some hot food, sit down, send messages, back on bike, pedal, 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 find food, fill up with water, back on bike, got dark, pedal, 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 set up bivvy, go to sleep.
Check my bags. Oh man, I did a 370k through the night last night to get to the airport this morning. Then I think I slept a little bit on the plane, but not much. Well, I slept for the whole plane journey, but it wasn't long enough. Oh, right, I mustn't fall asleep here. Like I can eventually, but I mustn't fall asleep like this with my jacket and all on. I have to wash what I need to wash, hang it up, and that's it. Did I just fall asleep there?
I was doing all the logistics as I was riding along, trying to book my flight on my phone, which is incredibly hard to do when you're exhausted, and trying to work out times that you might be there on actually get the payment going through. And there were always big flights, so it was a lot of money that you were risking.
The first thing I do is have a look and see if she sent me a message, and like, yes, come down, have a look on here. And then sometimes you zoom in and the dot's exactly on like Burger King or a coffee shop, and so I can send her a quick message going, do you suppose you're having coffee?
You can see like the mountain range, Mount Cook's up there. Oh. And now you're on the floor. So happy to be inside a bus shelter. It's like windy and drizzly and like yucky outside, so it's nice to be here, and it means that I'll get myself up in the morning. So I reckon I need to be up. These guys will be cleaning. These guys? What am I talking about? We're in a bus shelter. I'm losing it, like honestly, I'm losing it. But cheese scones. Cheese scones. I don't know why I'm talking about cheese scones. I really need to sleep. I'd love to go to sleep, but the only thing that could possibly worse than being out in this is having to come back out in it again, like from my bed. So I think I was just as well sticking it out and just riding on through the night. Oh, I really didn't want to do this because I'm not that well. Tell you what, I totally caught a bug from that snotty kid.
It was the one time I got really ill on the trip. I felt so sick and pretty vulnerable, and I was the furthest away from home I'd ever been.
I had to change my flight from Friday to Saturday, and then I just rode for 60k just now. Just been to a garage, couldn't eat anything, just had some sugary tea, and I'm like, I have to sleep before I can eat anything. Like, my stomach is so wheezy. So I'm going to take 40 minutes. I can't really afford 40 minutes. Like, I don't have that spare. If anything goes wrong tomorrow on the ride, this is like such a big gamble. Hopefully I don't miss my flight by 40 minutes. Flying, skidding in sideways to the car park with like 3 minutes to go, downloading my visa to get in, the American visa. Just like slapdash. Just managed to have a quick wash in the sink so I'm not too stinky for sitting next to anyone, because I've not. When was the last time I stayed inside? 1, 2, 3. I've had 3 rides since the last time I had a shower. But I mean, I'm alright. I'm fine. This flight is going to last for... So it's going to Los Angeles, and it doesn't get in until 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and it's 9 o'clock now. 9:30 now. Oh, I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. So chuffed. I'm a little bit gutted I'm not like, business class. Imagine having that much time business class. Oh.
By the time I was cycling across Canada, I could feel the fatigue had got really deep. I was tired all the time when I was riding, when I was sitting eating. All I wanted to do was sleep. I could feel it in my bones. I would get cold, I would get emotional. I would fall asleep on my bike twice a night at least. Everything just got harder.
I've just spent the last 3 weeks absolutely cocking it with seen a bear, and you're telling me people feed them. Ah!
Where I noticed it the most was how I dealt with the bear situation. That was a big signal for me that things were beginning to unravel a little bit for me.
My God, it's a bit of toilet roll. Oh. I keep catching things out of the side of my eye and being like, it's like just a bit of toilet roll flapping about. Oh my God, in a toilet block. So much shorter than I was meant to ride today. I don't know why I'm whispering, actually. Bears are meant to hear you. It like goes against everything that you think. Like, you want bears to be like, shh, don't tell the bear I'm here. Actually, you're meant to be like, boo, boo, boo. Hello, I'm here. Like, but honestly, I don't feel like it. So I've just cycled. How many? 3 hours. And I can hear my voice. It's all like dodge, because I've just been singing at the top, like I stuck on a playlist that I know off by heart, and I've just been singing and singing and singing, and had my light flashing.
Everything hurt. Everything was falling apart. So things were breaking on me. Things were breaking on my bike. Like shiver myself to sleep, shiver when I woke up in the morning.
So I'm kind of out of Bearville now, but coming down northern Canada. they were everywhere at the side of the road, and you would just hear a big creak in the woods, and then just see them like running off. Like, oh my god.
So you're almost here as well, so at the finishing point.
I know, it feels good, like another month, eh?
Mhm. Do you feel like it's going to be an easy month? No.
Comes back to that thing of not being able to quite share exactly what's going on, because you're the only one that's got any context in it, and you're the only one that can make any change to it. See that? 4 elephants. I could see in the distance things were so black, like the sky was so dramatic, and there was forks of lightning all day around me. The outside, about 20 miles outside the tornado, you get these like incredible lightning storms. And then I ended up cycling into it. And of course, I become a weather person when I'm out there. I'm like, oh yeah, I think the wind direction's going that way, so chances are I'm going to miss this thunderstorm. And then it ends up, you're like in it. You are actually in it. Thunder and lightning, very, very frightening indeed. Galileo. My cleat on my shoe that attaches to my pedal, on one side has just worn completely through, so I've just tied my foot onto my pedal, which is a little bit dodgy. It's funny not being able to get a lift off anyone. I wouldn't, like sometimes I dream that I have. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, like, have I taken the bus? I've not taken the bus anytime. I've not even seen a bus, to be honest, yet. I can't trust myself to go to bed. I keep sleeping in, unsurprisingly. So I just decided that I'm just going to stay up. Spain for Saturday. Then home! Yeah, it feels good to be heading back now, actually. It was like an emotional roller coaster, and you were just trying to manage the highs, because you knew the higher you went on that roller coaster, the further you'd fall. For me, it was like managing that headspace as much as I could, but equally allowing myself to have those emotions and being okay with it. Bonjour, mademoiselle. Bon courage. Oh, safe journey. And I found it quite liberating, actually, just having that space to accept those emotions. I found that in everyday life, when you're living with people, working with people, socialising with other people, then you have to bury so much of it often just to fit into society. When you're out there on the bike, you've got that freedom to allow yourself to be. Audio, 29,000. Oh my goodness. So basically I needed to get like the distance I have to go is 29,000. But I need to do some extra ones just to make up for like any like wrong turnings I've taken when I've double backed on myself, and just to have in the bag just in case, you know, it's not quite picked it up right. So yeah, so I reckon I've got another 600 to go.
You know, you get better at things, but we get better at not worrying.
I was very aware when I was out there that I had a family back home that were thinking about me constantly, worrying about me, and shielding them from any of the bad stuff.
She can't be too far now, no. We were here since over a week.
I actually can't believe we're nearly there.
I can't wait to go home and hear all the stories.
Did a massive stint to get there within daylight hours, and so rode for, I think it was 470 kilometres, which is like just over 300 miles in a winter.
Just about there, like 6 k's to go or something, just right down the street.
You get to that point and you think you're at the finish line, but what you don't realise is you've still got a long way to get there. There's so much processing that comes with a trip like this, all the emotions that were behind it and during the trip. You've got reconnecting with the people that you worked so hard to protect when you were out there, the most important people in your life. It took a lot of work to reconnect. So the real finish line doesn't come until the achievement can sink in, until the realisation that yeah, I did that, smashed the world record. That is me, I am that person. You know, the ordinary lassie from the Highlands can go out and achieve more than she ever dreamt possible.
It's just the way I woke up. People just beep the horn to say hi all the time. They're so friendly. It's horses, yurts, woman behind me selling I don't know where she's gone. She's over there somewhere. Selling milk of some sort. It must be goat, or do horses have milk? I don't know. Hey, Toby, what do you think's wrong with that?
So, I think you have too many miles on your shifter.
Oh, that's a lumpy rock. Really lumpy. Not seen one like that. It's a camel, isn't it? Climb every mountain high. Totally gate crashed the party to try and get some crisps. But I got some.